What's going on, everybody, and welcome once again to another Faqs Project podcast. I am your host, James Grandmaster Faqs Boyce. Today, we are here to talk about a dystopian future ruled by a mega corporation, and I'm here to talk with Joe Palmer, the author and illustrator of Destination Kill for Oni Press, to talk about this amazing book. Thank you for being here, sir.
Thank you so much for having me, James. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. So obviously I did a bunch of research on this, and for one, I wanted to at least talk about the creative vision that basically incorporated this book, because there have been past works of yours that I feel like could be intertwined into a multiverse almost. Time Before Time. You had a book called Grind.
Yes.
Where you had a futuristic society, two couriers who were basically competitive roller skates.
You did a deep dive.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I feel like Destination Kill is like an extension, although not. But I saw, for instance, that you had mentioned in one particular broad analysis that the project started with like a striking visual of a lone mass builder on top of a cathedral in London. How did that single image evolve into the larger narrative of what this story is?
Okay. I mean, it's kind of it's one of those things. Like I had just to keep it 100% real. Like I had to come up with something for the PR for the press release, and like so that single image of the builder, that is true, but that is only a very small aspect of the how it came together.
Right.
So I did have that in mind for a really long time, but it wasn't like I was thinking someday this will be some big story that I work on. It was basically a lot of things came together to make this book, and I was having a lot of different ideas completely independent of each other, and I never thought that they would come together into this book together.
Yeah.
Let me say together one more time. So I always wanted to do a sci-fi book of my own, and I wanted it to be in London because that's the city I've lived in for almost 15 years now. And yeah, just basically these ideas, like, they just sort of, when I sat down to actually write it, they sort of all came together, and just, I don't know how else to describe it, really. It was just basically me throwing everything that I had in the box into this one story, because I wasn't actually sure whether I'd be able to do this again. So it was a very much like a last ditch effort to do basically put everything I'd ever thought about, everything that I thought was a good idea, into this one book. So
No, now what made this like the right time in your career to make like a full creative control move, writing, illustrating, lettering? Was it Grind because that was like your first crack at it, and then you jumped into Destination Kill? Like, what was like the elevator pitch?
I mean, I think I always wanted to do my own stuff, but I also like I had a thing in my head of like I just want to be a comic artist for my living. That's what I want, and I got really like sidetracked by that path for a really long time. I think if you're someone as a creator who thinks that they've got stories to tell, you've kind of got to put the making money part of it aside for a while, because that's probably going to come later. That's just the reality of it. There's not much money going around the comics. Whereas obviously if you just do the art, that is like a clear path to making some money, and it's not an easy path, but like I did eventually get to the point where I was earning my living just doing that. And that, like, I just kept going down that path I kept with that path for a really long time. So it took a while to get back to like, oh, I'm not necessarily expressing my ideas in the role that I've put myself in. Like, it's really, on the one hand, it's really rewarding to like illustrate other people's stories. But at the end of the day, they are other people's stories. And if you've got stuff going on inside of you, that stuff doesn't go away. Like, it's just sort of gets at you after a while that like, I'm never actually going to do this unless I set the time aside to do it. So, but from a practical point of view, I mean, I had to find a way to finance this book. And what I'll just be honest. What ended up happening was when I was working on Time Before Time,
Mm.
I sold a bunch of original art, which was amazing. I mean, that's the first time I basically sold like the first 5 issues in one. So like I had a little bit of money, or not a little bit of money. I don't want to like downplay it, but I had enough money to start thinking, oh, it's a possibility.
Hmm.
Like this is, I could do my own thing. That's cool. And it all Time Before Time also got optioned for movie TV rights. So
Wow.
that was a little bit more money, and I was like, okay, if there's ever going to be a time for me to try this, I've got to do it. So, does that answer any of what you asked me to
That
begin with?
absolutely answers a lot.
I've lost the original thread.
No, no, I think you answered that because to be honest, it was about creative control and
Yeah.
how it basically evolved into what you're doing currently. Now, to get into the story set in 2125, which is horrific because that's actually 99 years from today.
Absolutely. I
With
was
a
trying to get it to come out last year, so it'd be exactly 100, but
yeah, it was like
didn't work out that well.
and it's a corporate controlled mega city. Obviously,
Mm-hmm.
it's in London. What real world anxieties or trends inform the creation of Overcon and this society?
Um, I mean, I was definitely looking at just what was going on at the time. When I started writing this, I think it was 2020, 2021. So, like, as I'm sure you remember, it was not, things weren't going necessarily that great in the world.
Yeah,
Not that they had taken a particular upswing right now, but
no,
like at the time, I was just looking out the window and basically being like, what's going on right now? And just extrapolating from there, really. But I don't know how to answer that, really. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that's really personal in the book,
yeah,
but at the same time, I don't necessarily want to like say what's real and what's not because that might mess with like an audience's interpretation.
might be a spoiler.
So yeah, kind of. No, there is some stuff that would be a bit spoilerific, but um, yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure how to answer that.
Okay,
Um,
I'll go with this. The idea of displaced workers rising up against automation.
yeah,
It does feel current. How intentionally political is Destination Kill?
it wasn't. I didn't start out. Someone asked me this the other day because I did another interview, and it just wasn't. It wasn't like I sat down to write a satire of what's going on right now.
Hmm.
Um, Really, it started with it was more reverse engineered. So I had the idea of having like a gang of builders, right?
Yeah.
And I had to come up with their motivation. So it was basically me working out what are they pissed off about? What are they angry about?
Yeah.
And it's just like, it kind of all just fit into place. Well, they don't have jobs. Why don't they have jobs? And then, do you know what I mean? It was like a puzzle being put together. Um, but yeah, it wasn't me being like, looking around and being like, oh, well, automation is taking people's jobs, AI is taking people's jobs. It wasn't any of that. It
Hmm.
just unfortunately happens that the world is going that way. And this is not new. Science fiction has
Of
been talking
course.
about since the very beginning, the dangers of human displacement as a result of corporate choices, shall we say.
Yeah, you even get into almost, I think, in the first few pages, the act of desensitizing from watching somebody basically being murdered right on the street, and
Absolutely.
people are
Yeah.
basically just saying, "Hey, let us see the body,"
Yeah.
without being like horrified by it.
Yeah, totally.
So the act of emotion just in that one panel of somebody just literally being murdered right in front of like a
Hmm.
crowd full of people, and nobody is terrified by it. They are almost just going on about their business.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. But I mean, unfortunately, that's a lot of what's going on today is just because we're so almost immune to the amount of stuff that's going on. You kind of have to be in order to just cope with how much messed up stuff is going on, or at least that's how I see it. I mean, we all have access on our phones to so much of information about what's happening
Hmm.
that we're all sensitive beings, right? I don't know whether the human brain is meant to take on board the world's stuff.
Right.
I don't think we're there from a what's the word? From an evolution point of view.
True.
Um,
True. Now you tend to, even because you talked about it before about satire. You tend to. How did you balance satire with a darker dystopian element? You're almost adding a little bit of humor to this. A
I
lot.
mean, I hope it's
A
yeah,
lot, actually.
yeah. It's a. I mean, it's a very silly book in a lot of ways. I mean, there's a lot of serious themes in it, but it's presented in a very ridiculous way, shall we say?
Right.
Uh, and that's fun. That's just me having fun. I
Yeah,
mean,
it's almost Monty Python-esque.
yes. Well, I mean, Monty Python's a huge influence. Like, I mean, Terry Gilliam's films, I absolutely love.
Yes.
I mean, big influence on me, and continue to be. But yeah, I don't know. I didn't like have a master plan for any of this stuff. I just was, like I said before, really throwing a lot of eggs in one basket and just trying to make it all stick together. This was my first time writing something of this length.
Hmm.
You mentioned grind, and like that's as big a project as I'd written before, and that was what 20 pages or something.
Yeah.
Uh,
Beautiful cover, by the way.
Thank you, thank you. I can't even remember what year that's from, but it's a while back. I think it might be 2017,
Mhm.
2018. Um, but yeah, that was like a first attempt at doing my own thing. And sorry, I've completely lost the thread again.
No,
Where,
no,
where
no.
were we?
No, because we were basically talking about like the mix that you basically had within the book. Basically
Yeah,
how it's both entertaining and horrifying in its prescience.
yeah. Balancing humor was, I think, where we were at.
Yeah, it's almost in the dark world. Like where do you find the act of comedy to throw in there, or better
Yeah,
yet,
I
just a
think
little
that's
bit of humor.
yeah. That's really just comes from my what I'm attracted to personally. Like I love humor, and it's not something I've necessarily been able to put into a lot of my work before.
Mhm.
Um, because if you're working with someone else's idea, it's not always appropriate for me to just start making jokes with the artwork. And, you know, it would be not like in Time Before Time. If I'd have just started throwing in background humor and literally changing what was written,
Right.
that wouldn't be honoring what the guys wrote for that. So,
It's true.
um,
But this is more you would say it's more your personality.
absolutely. Yeah. I mean, this is, I hope what I tried to do at least was just put as much of myself on the page as possible. Um, I don't know whether I think I've succeeded in that, but like,
I think
I,
so,
I mean, yeah, I don't know. That would be for the reader
for sure.
to figure out for themselves.
Now, I'll tell you that I heard about this book out of the rumblings that came out of Comics Pro all the way in California. I'm in New Jersey.
Okay.
So, Comics Pro happened where they basically are telling the story. Oni Press, of course, presented the story to a lot of retailers and everything like that. And then that news, of course, came out as like a big news blast. And I hear about this character, about Gina Serene, and
Hmm.
stressed, pill independent detective, kind of like Max Payne, like in the video game. What drew you to portraying a protagonist that is in a kind of a fragile mental state, although she's in law enforcement?
Hmm. Um, well, firstly, it's interesting for a character to have a personal issue, right?
Right.
That is it's um, but it was partly just me. I was having a lot of anxiety at the time when I started writing this, and it just found its way into the character.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, each of the characters has somewhat of a. They started at least with an aspect of me in them, and then as I began to write, they started having their own voice.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but to begin with, that's where it came from. It was definitely make it interesting, and also just a little taste of me in there as well. Um, and yeah, her not necessarily wanting to acknowledge the underlying issues with her problems, that definitely came from me. Um, uh, I've obviously since acknowledged a lot of those issues, but like I wasn't medicated. That's me heightening
Got
the
you.
real situation. Um, but yeah, it was just trying to make the lead not perfect. I mean, that's so for me at least. That's pretty boring when the lead is not vulnerable in the slightest. It's I mean, it's very difficult to relate with characters like that when they're perfect, and everything's sorted.
For sure.
Even though she's a tough character and she's a police officer who tries to get the job done.
Yeah.
She's really struggling in her private life.
Yeah, you even
So,
see that, I guess, in the same breath with her conflicting relationships because she has the dynamic between her and Lance Wingman, how that
yes.
evolves, especially given their past because they were partners at one point.
Hmm.
Now, how did that dynamic basically build into this story
Um,
without
I mean,
without
what?
spoilers?
Yeah, it's so difficult to say without spoiling. I mean, even just mentioning Lance really is like that's something that doesn't come up in the book for a while. But
Mhm.
whatever, it doesn't matter. It's out there. Literally, the press release for issue 2 came out the other day, and he's on the cover. So
Yep.
like, there's no real hiding his ridiculous presence. Um, but like, I love buddy cop stories. I love those Lethal Weapon is great. It's like a dynamic which is very fun to write.
Hmm.
So I needed like a foil to what Gina's dealing with some serious shit. So I was like, I need something to foil that to literally to play against. So having Lance, who is not the most like serious character,
Hmm.
to say the least, like it's a good thing for them to. There's something for them to butt heads. But yeah, it's I talking about it like with perspective, like almost 2 years after I completed the book. It's very odd for me because I'm almost like having to reverse engineer my reasons for doing things, and
Hmm.
it didn't really come about that way. Like
Yeah.
it was just me following instincts and just being like, this is what I want to do. And Lance, for example, Lance was a character that it was going to be in a completely different story. Like
Hmm.
as I mentioned earlier about elements coming together, I
Yeah.
never planned on him being in this story at all. I really wanted to do a like a sleazy private detective kind of story. I've always liked film noir, and
Yeah.
it it just so happened that like it it really could it just benefited from having like a balance of characters in that way. So it just it just happened.
Came out of it. That's a now
Yeah.
when we're talking about even some of the concepts that you have in here, the Paradise Loop train connecting London to New York. That's a wild concept by itself. Now, how what does it symbolize within the story?
Within the story, I mean, it's kind of I mean, I don't want to give too much away in terms of like what is revealed, but
Right.
it's it's kind of like a what's the word? Like a I can't think of the right word. Like where you're not even seeing what the thing really does. Like
Hmm.
it's just something that is alluded to.
Like an illusion for a grander scheme of things.
Kind of, yeah. I mean, there is a word that I'm trying to think of, but it doesn't matter. It represents to at least Gina within the story, and that's the most important person that it relates to. It's like her escape. I mean, it's what she's focused all her like um, she's really hoping that this will alleviate a lot of her issues, and that is something that like at least something in my real experience. It might just be an English thing, but maybe not. That like you literally pinning all of your hopes for relaxation on just getting away for
Away.
even if it's
Yep.
like 2 weeks a year or whatever you're able to manage. But it's a kind of like really unrealistic way of dealing with your problems. Do you know what I mean? As in like
Yeah.
it's pretending like 2 weeks are going to solve your issues. They're going to be waiting for you when you get home. So
Hmm.
it's
I just need to live long enough to go on vacation for 2 weeks.
yeah, absolutely. But it's like that's a normal human thing to believe that that would be the case, right? And this promise of New York being somehow better than this scenario that she's in is what my thinking was regarding the Paradise Loop.
Yeah.
I should say the Paradise Loop. No one's brought this up, but the name, the Paradise Loop, is from like an anime. I don't know if you've seen the anime AD Police, but like
No.
AD Police Bars. Have you heard of Bubblegum Crisis?
Yes.
Yeah, so Bubblegum Crisis, AD Police is like a spin-off story of
Okay.
that. So that name is absolutely borrowed from that anime. I did
Mm.
not come up with that. It's a cool sounding name, so I was just like, it's call it an homage. It's or stolen, whichever. Please don't sue me.
Now, your work, of course, described as having visual nonstop firepower. This is something that I pulled from something else because
Mm-hmm.
obviously me reading the book, of course, from cover page all the way to the back, the visuals are amazing. How did you approach the pacing and the panel composition to achieve the intensity in each panel?
I mean, I wanted the story to have like a momentum, like that's the kind of book that I like to read. I'm not particularly, even though there is a lot of, like, I was looking back at the first issue just recently, and there's a lot of text in it, like
Hmm.
more than I wouldn't necessarily do that again if I had the chance to do it again.
Yeah.
But in terms of like what I had to actually convey in that first issue, it's a lot of information. And I was just trying to keep it as interesting as possible. It's yeah, I mean, there's a lot of scenes in that first issue. It's very cramped, and
But it looks
because
great.
well, thank you, I appreciate it. I mean, I just did my best with it. Like I said, I was very inexperienced at the time, so as in with the writing, so I was structuring it very formally in terms of like trying to figure out the plot.
Hmm.
Um, but in terms of dialogue, like I didn't have the whole thing scripted. So I did my thumbnails and I worked out the whole story that way. And then everything else kind of, I had some dialogue in place, but it was very much like, this doesn't answer your question at all, does it?
No, no, it
Uh,
does because it kind of feeds into the segue question, which was like, are these the advantages and the challenges of also handling the lettering project
yeah,
yourself?
absolutely. Yeah. I mean, lettering was something that like I really wanted to try and do. Like,
Hmm.
I wanted to get better at it, and the only way I was going to do that is by doing it. Um, like hand lettering is so fun. It's something that I've always wanted to do, but it's a big commitment
Yeah,
because,
creating
like,
your own fonts.
I mean, it's not even. I mean, this is literally hand drawn on the pages, so
Hmm.
it's beyond creating your own font. It's making something that you can keep doing for the whole book. Um, it's it's really challenging, and but on the plus side, like as a writer, I was finding it really useful because once that dialogue is in place and you've drawn it on there, there's no going back. Like it's so much effort to like change it at that point
Mm.
that it actually helped me as a writer, helped me commit to like, oh, they're definitely going to say this because I'm not putting in the effort to go back and edit it later.
Right.
Um, if does that make sense? Like,
No,
as in,
it
it was just pure like I have to make a choice here instead of being dancing around what line of dialogue that I'm going to do.
now was there
Um,
anybody that you researched lettering wise to be like, okay, if I did it like this might work a lot better.
are you talking about like the actual aesthetics of the lettering,
Yeah,
or
was there anybody that you researched and was like,
I
okay,
mean, I've like I'm a big fan of European comics and like most of the French and Belgian artists that I like. I mean, they all hand letter their stuff. Like
mm,
it's all hand lettered. I mean, it's like a normal thing to do in Europe. Obviously, in America, it's a completely different system,
yeah,
and
it's
there
singular.
it's yeah, but there's a reason for that separation. Like in relatively mainstream comics, it's just hand lettering doesn't really fit the process because everything is compartmentalized, right? So like if the writer wants to change things, they have no control over that. If someone's hand lettered it, and also on a monthly schedule, it's not possible. But the thing I noticed is just there's so few people that even want to try it.
True.
Uh, like and like for me at least, it's I've done a lot of hand drawn sound effects before, in my work.
Right. Okay.
Like in Time Before Time and stuff, like I was doing all the sound effects and trying to integrate them as much as I could into the art. But lettering is like another step beyond that, like because you've really got complete control over the page and how it flows. And yeah, I mean, it's I really have a good time with it, and I continue to do so. I learned a lot doing it, and I feel at least there's quite a change from issue 1 onwards. So issue 1 has kind of a different look to the letters, a bit more round, and it's kind of gets a bit more confident and a bit more angular as the book goes on. But yeah, it's just fun, man. Like, it's really fun. I really enjoy it.
Now, your style, of course, being as unique as it is, because I don't feel like anybody is comparable to what you do on a page. Is there any visual influences that you pull from comics, film, literature that shape the look of Central City?
Of the city, or like the whole book?
The
Because
whole book and Central City, because Central City is almost like its own animal.
yeah. I mean, the city was looking around in London. I mean, and I don't feel like I did a particularly good job of setting the scene. I feel I could have done a lot more going out and taking pictures and stuff. Seeing as I live here, like the research is there, right? I mean,
right.
I didn't do a whole bunch of that. But as far as the visuals are concerned, I mean, it's very complimentary that you say that. But like, all I see when I look at my work is my influences. So like, I have, obviously it's me that's done it. So like, all I see is where certain things have come from, and like, oh, this the way I draw that kind of looks like this person. You know, it's but yeah, there's loads. I mean, as far as comics go, I mean, Mike Mignola, Mick McMahon, I mean, Kazuhiro Otomo, the guy who did Akira, I absolutely love. My work looks nothing like him, but he's a big inspiration. Let me see. I mean, outside of comics, like Robert Valley, Peter Chung, both animators, I absolutely love their work. Yeah, I mean, there's just as an artist, there's just an endless list of like big influences on things. And things, things are always changing. I'm always seeing new stuff and being like, that's feeding into my work. That's like inspiring me in some way. Yeah, there's just so many.
Yeah. Even the series that they're compared to. Well, you talk about Judge Dredd, of course, the 2000 AD work, V for Vendetta, Tank Girl. The aspects of those works, any of those resonate with you most?
I mean, I love all of those things, but that's definitely like a PR statement in terms of like, this thing is kind of like these things. Like, I would never compare it to those works at all. I do love them, but they didn't necessarily inform this piece of work. But I understand why someone would look. I mean, they're all science fiction things. It's something like, it's something to help. Yeah, to help sell the idea. But maybe that's more of a question for the audience, whether they think it's like whether those things are they reminiscent of it. It's certainly not to me, but
yeah.
I mean, I'll take it as a compliment. I love all of those things, so I'm not got nothing bad to say.
Do you feel as though like what you've created, obviously, based off of like the things that happen in the world around 2020, of course, with the pandemic, lead to like this modern day storytelling of dystopian sci-fi that definitely is like staying relevant today, as in what it was in the past. People were talking about post-apocalyptic things, to where the world had already been destroyed and this is how we basically survive. And then now, it's sort of in the context of what you're creating. Corporations have just basically run amok. They've figured out a way to basically wiggle their way into every fabric of society and have monetized everything. Gig economies are basically gone to shit. Like almost what you created in grind. It's the gig economy and how competitive that got. You don't even see how big the world basically took over and made these two random couriers as competitive as they are. So when you're looking at a world that you created in this, it's like, this is exactly what society is right now. We are kind of in like a smidgen of a dystopian society.
I mean, yeah, I agree. I don't particularly like the way that things are going at the moment. But you never know. You just never know. I think like the most unrealistic part about this book
Mhm.
is that things haven't changed that much in 100 years.
Yeah,
I think if human beings make it another 100 years, the world will probably have to look quite different
yeah.
to the way that the book presents. Just purely on a survival level, like we're going to have to make some different choices.
Oh yeah.
So in terms of, I mean, basically the book is, yeah, you're right. The book is talking about now. It's not talking about like the
Yeah.
future, but that's a regular thing in science fiction. You know, it's always talking about the time in which it was made. So
Mm,
um,
definitely. Now, what made Oni press the right home for dystopian Destination Kill?
they were really like I pitched this back when I think I'd done about 10 pages, and I pitched it. Like they'd got in touch with me about a completely different project, like
Mm,
to see
okay.
whether I was interested. And I had this thing, so I was like, "Would you be interested in taking a look?" They were really enthusiastic, and um, they basically extended me like a they were they wanted me to that they wanted me to be like go with them. But I was really hesitant to make a commitment at that time. Honestly, I was just like, I don't really want to be working with anyone. I just want to focus on the doing of the book
Hmm.
because I'd just come off of two projects where there was it was working with other people basically, and I
Yeah.
really wanted to just go it alone and just not have any input, even from editorial. I
Yeah.
wanted no, even though they were really hands off and were like, look, you can do this at your own pace. You can do it however you want.
Yeah.
We just be involved. I still just didn't want that hanging over my head. I was just like, I want to just get my head down and do the job. So that's what I did. So I worked on it. Yeah, it took me about a year and a half after that point. But once I'd finished the book, took
Yeah.
it to them, like remarkably, they were still interested and like they still wanted it. So
Yeah.
that's how it ended up there. And they've been really supportive of the book from the start. So it's great to have people on your side.
For sure. Like I said,
Yeah.
I heard about the book, I think in February, and instantly I was like, well, shoot, how can I get my hands on this in order to definitely like read it and especially talk with you about it? Did that freedom influence the risk that you were willing to take with the
Um,
storyline, or you had already had that pitched in and you were like, I
yeah,
know what I can
I
give
wouldn't
them.
say yeah, I wouldn't say it really influenced anything. It was more just like it was nice to have someone in my corner, that's all.
Right.
But as far as the story is concerned, I mean, by that point I had it pretty mapped out already, so
Yep.
it didn't really, if I'm honest, it didn't change much from a creative point of view. Other than it was just really nice that they were that supportive, and
Good.
um, I
Now,
don't necessarily think that's not that common. So
it's true.
I'm really grateful for it.
Excellent. Now, when we're talking about at its core, is Destination Kill about rebellion, survival, or identity, or all three?
All of the above, I think. But again, I don't want to necessarily um, say what I think the book is about
Mhm.
because, like, I don't know when you like sometimes hear artists on interviews talk about their own feelings about the project. It kind of colors like the way that you go into it yourself. Like this book is not even it's not even in people's hands yet, so
Yeah.
I'm kind of like hesitant to color it with my feelings on it. And
Hmm.
also, my feelings on it are so complex compared to someone that's just picking it up and flicking through.
Hmm.
They're not going to be invested in the same way that I
Oh
am.
yeah.
How could they be? I mean, it's just it's it's kind of I'm very happy that it's off to have a life with other people basically because my life with it is more or less over. It's like I my relationship now will be to the people that have anything to say about the book.
True.
But as far as like my creative relationship to the book, it's kind of over. So and it's been I finished this book. I mean, it's almost 2 years ago. I finished
Yeah.
this. Yeah,
So,
which
so what would be your ideal emotional reaction to what readers should
Oof,
feel
I
when they get this? Is there an
is
ideal?
that even like it's not for me to say, right? I mean,
Okay.
it's I hope
Because
that people have
everybody
fun.
has their own iteration of what they read.
Yeah, yeah. I hope people have fun with it. I mean, because it, like I said earlier, it is silly. It is
Yeah, it
quite.
is.
It does deal with real things, but at the same time, it's presented in a very silly fashion. So, and
Mhm.
I feel like that hasn't necessarily translated that well in some of the literature that's gone out about it.
Mhm.
Like if I was looking to buy a book and I read some of the PR that's gone out, I would not necessarily feel like it represents it as much of like it does in some ways. Like I don't want to say it completely misrepresents it, but it's it's very comedic. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
Uh, and it was intended to be that way. So
Do you feel it's been misrepresented on a PR level as not
I
having that
don't.
much
That's
humor?
what I mean. I don't want to be unfair to the PR team, but it's just I think if I would expect a very serious book based on what's been written about it.
Oh yeah, just from the
And
title.
if the title is extremely silly, though, do you not think? Like, I mean,
Destination.
it
Yo.
it's like the title honestly came from me thinking about like a lot of those '90s movies with '90s action movies with just like
Demolition
the
Man.
yeah, Demolition Man, number one, absolutely,
Yep.
and like Executive Decision, and all of these ridiculous titles,
Yes.
which I absolutely love. But it's so I hope that at least the title lets people know that it's not taking itself very seriously. So
Heard.
I don't know, because this going back to what we were just talking about, I can't really see it for what it is because I don't have that perspective.
Mhm.
I'm the person who made it, so I have the least amount of perspective on it.
Mhm.
Um, but we'll see. We'll see. I don't
Gotcha.
know.
Now it's a 4 issue miniseries.
It is.
Did you always envision it to be a contained story, or was there any potential for it to expand?
Um, so I always intended for it to be a one and done story.
Yep.
Like that being said, I do have an idea for something continuing if there was demand for it. But it's really self-contained.
Hmm.
It ends in a self-contained way, and the story is wrapped up. And I I I don't think you need any more afterwards. It's just I could tell a different story with some of those characters if I wanted
Definitely.
to. Yeah.
Now the covers that basically are revolving around Gina Serene. You got a lot of variants, of course, that are put out.
Mm-hmm.
Riley Rossmo, the moon is following us. Ronald Wimberly. I didn't expect that one, and that one was great. I actually bought two or three covers of it. Liana Congas, who actually is involved in it as well. Tango.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that cover was actually fire as well. And basically, do you have a say in who you're an artist yourself? So you're like, who do I get to basically encompass what I built on the page to do
I
these
mean,
variants?
yeah, I had a dream list. I mean, I want to be very careful because you kind of like I don't want to hurt anyone's feelings.
Right, of
But
course.
basically, I mean, my dream list of I had this dream list of like who I would like to get on a variant cover, and I had it on my phone for like 2 years,
Mm,
and that list was pretty short. I mean, it
okay.
was only it was only like eight or ten names.
Okay.
Um, and they're all expensive. so 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 I sent that list because they only asked me. They were like,
Yeah.
"Who do you want?" And I knew right off the bat that like a lot of those people were going to be unavailable.
Okay.
I mean, out of that list, I mean, I can't say because they haven't been announced, but like I got a couple off the list, which is it's great, it's amazing. And Ronald Wembley was one of those people on the list, which and I reached out to Ron and I honestly couldn't believe that he said yes. So
Mm,
I'm very very happy with that cover. I've
yeah.
been a fan of Ron since what like 2007 2008, like really like
Damn.
a long time. And I literally buy everything that he does.
Excellent.
Yeah, big fan.
Excellent.
But
So obviously, uh, first issue FOC is about to start, and then pretty much these books are going to start coming out. The FOC for issue 2 is already out. I literally just purchased
It
that.
is, yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah.
purchased that pre-order already. So that's going to be out like in June. So I was like, so as a matter of fact, like your summer is kind of set. So it's like, what's next after this?
Um, Honestly, depends on money.
Okay.
That's the
That
real
look,
answer.
that
I
is a
mean,
that is a great answer.
yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah. I have to make some more money because I pretty much financially extended myself with making this book. So
Hmm.
that's the honest answer. I'd started drawing another book,
Yeah.
and I would, if it was up to me, I would choose to continue doing that and pitch it somewhere, and we will see. But yes, it's up to money. It's I would love to do that, but it's expensive financing your own books,
Look,
and not everywhere will give you an advance, and even if they do, it's not necessarily enough money to live off. So
yeah. Look, I, I
um,
I I live in reality. I don't live in fantasy. So that
yeah,
sounded like the perfect answer.
yeah, yeah. Well, it's also comics is not a place to make a lot of money either. It's there is money to be made, but it's more, well, at least from my experience, like
Mhm.
I've earned more in selling original art than I ever have from any publisher.
Mhm.
So it's, if there was a way to, yeah, I mean, the thing is, as an artist, it's like you can earn more money doing commissions than you can drawing comics.
Right.
Just drawing pictures of Spider-Man for people earns you more money than drawing comics. Now, number one, there's probably not enough people that want a picture of whoever from me to make some kind of actual, like, a living that I can count on.
Hmm.
And also, I like making comics, so it's just like it's finding some kind of balance where I can continue to live, but yeah, I don't know whether my full living will be made in comics. That's for sure.
Well, I will say that within these next 4 books that you're basically going to be putting out, I hope that everybody gets to have basically their eyes on a lot of your work, because the vision quality and obviously the story quality that you created here in just these four issues uh, are definitely worth everybody getting their eyes on and their hands on. So I hope
Well,
that
thank you so much, man.
they
That's
take their time out to buy it, because like I said, the first two issues are already on FOC. I already purchased the first 2, so I can't wait for for
much
it to,
appreciated.
for it to definitely get into my hands.
Yeah, it's going to be really surreal when it actually turns up.
Yeah, yeah. Look,
See,
you might be talking about this all summer. I'm just glad I'm one of the first.
yeah, 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 absolutely. Well, I don't know. I really don't know because all of them usually how it goes. I don't know how it will be for this book, but usually all of the noise for it is over by issue 2. So
Yeah,
this,
that's what they say.
yeah,
So the height of interest, it's already there for me.
yeah.
So
I might have a quiet summer.
hey,
No, you
we
never know.
we gotta open our mouths and get it out there. So so I look, I appreciate you doing this with me. This has been excellent. Of course, the FOC is almost up for issue 1. I believe it's
It
by the
is.
end of the
It's
month, right?
420, so it's 20th of April. Yeah.
Yeah, 20th of April. So you got like a month for that to definitely get that in everybody's hands. And like I said, the FOC for issue 2 is already live for
Yeah.
everybody to get their hands on those pre-orders. So thank you, Joe. This has been an amazing talk. I appreciate you
James,
doing
I
this with me.
appreciate you having me on. I really appreciate it. Anytime.
Absolutely. So for everybody here at the Faqs Project, Joe Palmer, all the way from London, Destination Kill is going to be in everybody's hands by next month. So I hope that everybody gets a chance to get issue 1 and issue 2 for Oni Press. It's a fabulous book, visually stimulating, an excellent story. So get out there, get those pages out, get that money in your hands, and go buy the book. Word. So for everybody here at the Faqs Project, Joe Palmer, myself, we will see you guys next time.